But there's only a few things that really had to be done. I'm just gonna say that was just the path. It's like there was some area where you were supposed to copy the exact same thing. Yeah.
It's putting the files in the right places.
Yeah.
But this is.
So what I found was, okay, all they did was follow the instructions.
No, there's be some other guys. No, even when I told someone.
Yeah.
No. Huge.
Did y'all ever seen his live lecture video?
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to, you know, the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 3 times. 3 times. Yeah. Even on Python.
That was the class. That was what it was just like.
I never watched.
He literally like, he did like a live search. It's been clear.
So.
He's into like, he's into the last one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I can't tell if like the look that he gave was just his blank look or if we realized it.
I don't feel like it's done it multiple times.
Declare service or have a different computer. It's very. There's no way he doesn't have more than one computer. Have a designated. Yeah, as far as like personally, you know, the passwords are all the same. I'll be honest, all my passwords are like some variations. Which is worse for me because then I have to.
Things like. Like if you're passing. Point there. That's it's like all 8 guys. Recipes. Because I read a couple of books on some of the short books. That's where he used to get like something like chicken, like burger. You're not gonna remember that part.
Okay, it comes, okay. Good to see you again. Have a nice long weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I will post, first like to those, if you can't like open the account for the EC2, when I share the one I created, so you can use based on the guidelines of what I share my the public key, the certificate right here, so you can download it, so you can use it. And here's the DNS public address, so you can follow the just the comment and then try to execute. Just remember when you download the file, like to those like cannot follow the steps, remember change the file permission to 400, so it's read only. So it depends on you're using Mac or Windows, so you need to change the property and just replace the path. Like either you change your directory using CD, change your directory, or like put the complete path of your file, so you can try to log into this file. Okay. And I also post the assignment, so suppose if you can see it on the D2L. Okay, so it's a pretty easy assignment, so just make a screenshot. I already tell you right here. So the assignment, what you need to do, suppose you can see the assignment. Just make the screenshot like of all the like NGs, PHP FPM, the UFW, and also the security inbound. To those, if you don't have an account because you don't have it, so it doesn't matter. Just like because if you have it, just like I want to let you know, okay, where can you find the inbound rules, the security good. So if you cannot get it, it's fine. So because like to those like couldn't access to my account, so it's okay. And how can you access to the web page? So here's a slightly tricky because when you click on the link on EC2 right here, so it will redirect to the port 443. So you shouldn't able to open it. So what you need to do, just like remove the click on the hyperlink. And then go to the top, remove the S. Then you should able to see the page. It's welcome to Nginx. Okay, so it would be same for IPv4 address or using the DNS. So you can try to work on this part. And right now we will go back to our lecture. Last time we stopped at TCP/IP. So we talk about the TCP/IP is like in the transport layer. So it kind of like useful to like establish the reliable connection. So we will try to break the data. So when we try to send a complete message or a whole file image, so we will break down into a small package. And the TCP is help us to build a connection prior to the data transfer using the system called a three-way handshake. So the three-way handshake is like first I need to send acknowledgement to my destination. It confirm, okay, I'm alive, I'm ready. So I will send acknowledge back to the sender. So the sender say, okay, I confirm it. Okay, then I will send one more package. You say, one more is say, okay, I'm going to send you a package. So then we start the connection. So it's called a three-way handshake. So we just make sure and put it common. So you will see right now, when you look at the security rules, the groups like the inbound rules, we're using TCP. So that's what we are using for the website, even email, and even SSH. We can use the TCP protocol. And all this, like we use another one is called the UTP. I asked like what's the difference, and then because like for streaming we're using it UTP, so it's not secure, but we can like make sure like it's like ongoing. We can sending the package out. Video games, broadcast, or like the voice over IP, VoIP. Anybody know what VoIP, voice over IP means?
Internet-based phone, is it?
Yes, correct. Okay, so right now it's pretty common. Anybody have tried to use you can like subscribe, like pay for it. It's pretty cheap. Then you can get like kind of virtual phone number. So you need to install some mobile app. So what you need to do, you need to input your IP address. Sometimes the DNS with the port number, also your account number, password, all those information. Then you can use it. Or sometimes we may connect with your phone too. You can use, there's one now it's called the like network phone. So also you can sign into the account. Also, you can use the VoIP to make a call. Okay. So all this like is like possible to lose the package. So we don't have to guarantee, but we need to make sure it's a smooth, like ongoing. So here's the different idea between TCP and also the UDP. Okay, and why now is they go back to the one is really common. We see a lot. It's called the hypertext. Hypertext is the HTTP protocol. So it's on the application layer. We'll know. So it's basically for the website. And also for the website, when we try to connect with it, we always have some instance we have called a get, post, and delete. Also, we have other methods to retrieve the data. So old school or like actually still using, we using PHP. So PHP, we still have the method using like post and get. And even if we change, like implement our own API server, like new API server, we still using the get, post, all this method. So that's the idea, but we can use different language. Even we can use Python, using the Node.js to build a backend. So all this will be the same. And next one will be the file transfer protocol. So it's really common. We call it like FTP. And FTP is like allows to transfer a file. And we also, sometimes we put one more for security, it's called the SFTP. So the S stand for, I think last time I covered this part. So another S will be same as HTTPS. So they use the certificate to encrypt the file connection. So you can access the file. Okay. And this one is the SSH protocol. That's what we're using right now. So it's an encrypted protocol implemented in the application layer. So it helps us to communicate with the remote server or there's some instance or nodes. Right now, if you see the terminal, maybe later, yeah, thanks for letting us know. But I think the Windows 11, like even the terminal, they using the Open SSH. So they kind of like upgraded to another way for that connection. So sometimes they keep changing. So we need to like add that to depends on, because I'm not using Windows, so I don't know like how that's changed. Yeah. Or like when we use other terminal, they will help you to do the encryption for connect to the server. Okay. And here is the one of the example. One's called ipconfig. One is called the ifconfig. So the main difference is ipconfig is for Windows, and for Linux is called the ifconfig. So what's the usage of this one? You can see if you use the ipconfig, you should able to check like if right now if you open your terminal and then for Windows, you can use the ipconfig. Then you can able to see, okay, so what's the sometimes we do have a host or the node type and also the DNS, and also based on the connection. So you will see do they enable DHCP, all these things. Or the like we call the default gateway. So anybody try to use the ipconfig to check the information? I have a question. So you will see the default gateway. So sometimes because I say gateway, no. Anybody try to guess what's the meaning of default gateway? Right here. And check the IP, it's an IP address. So it looks like something, or like based on the yours, then what is the IP comes out?
That's my IP.
There's a two IP. So one is your IP, one is called the default gateway. So could you able to see a default gateway?
Is that the IP address for the wireless access point we're connected to, or the network that we're connected to?
Close.
I
If
think-
you check yours,
Is it how you get to outside? So if I wanted to go to another network.
compare.
Default gateway?
So if you check your default gateway, can you compare with the address right here? Can you see mine right here? I think it's pretty small. It's 10.128, 128, 128.
Yeah.
So is it? So the default gateway right here is actually is the router. It goes out.
Okay.
Okay. Because we sometimes we use lots of names. So even though the vocabulary, we say default gateway actually is the first node we are going up. Then you will ask, okay, how about the access point? Like we connect to access point, so we won't count it as a gateway or the first node we're going up. The first one should be our router. So the default gateway, that means like, okay, right now, if you're under this subnet, so which gateway or first node you should access to, then that's your router. So here's a slightly tricky about this part. And for the Linux system, then we can use the ifconfig, then we will get the same. And here's the IP address. And last time I asked, here's called the net mask. Net mask also is another name we call it called the subnet mask. Anybody still remember what's subnet mask?
It's, so you have, accompanying, subnet mask along with IP
Mhm.
address to I don't remember exactly what it does, but you have an IP address and then it'd be a /24 or something, and then it's just basically a set of another IP number, there's most likely 225 or 255, 255, 255, something.
Okay,
And
yes,
then that allows additional.
yep, correct. Yeah, so it's an idea. So for the subnet mask, it would define basic most of the time common you will see either 0 or 225. So it's how it looks like. But it's like sometimes it comes out like 240 or like on 10 is okay. So it gives you more like digit. Just imagine it because last digit will be like changed to binary. So it's 255. But if we taking 240, then we be like we will taking one more digit. 16, 2 more, 3, 4. So it will be for 4 digits, and then it will occupy for the range for your IP address. So then you will see, okay, so when the DHCP, so DHCP is trying to dynamically like assign the IP address to all your device, to the clients. Okay, so based on how we define the subnet mask, then there's a range of then we'll know the range of the IP address. And if you can see from your, like, if you check using ipconfig or ifconfig and then check, okay, my IP address, it doesn't match to another one, then you should be in the different subnet. That's the idea, right? Okay, that means we maybe have like 2 different routers, but you connect together. In network architecture, like physically hardware, it's possible we can like using called the net bridge or like the IP terminal to make like 2 subnet connect together. It's possible. Like they will help you to also about router, like we talk about router switch, right? So router will help us to handle it. Okay, if we are under 2 different subnet, how we forward the package? Like is it under our local subnet or other subnet? So then the router will know how to handle those package based on the subnet mask too.
So part that's confused me about subnet
Subnet mask.
before was,
Mhm.
so it establishes the range of IPs that your network can use. But then, so this, like, let's say like our current network right here, it has this many IPs, it has a certain subnet, and then another subnet, it's different, but it's just a wider range. So like, it has more IPs, but when the IPs from that other network also be in that range?
Because if you ask us this question, okay, because in 2 different subnet, we need to know, okay, we can preset, like actually we can set same range of the subnet mask, and then the IP address can be longer or shorter the range, or exactly same. So how can we determine if I want to send this package to another device? Then how should I, like, if for the application layer, how can I know, okay, I should send it to this one? Is it in local subnet or other subnet that is outside WAN? So actually we have kind of like mapping the table to check, also depends on the destination. So if you put the local, we do have a conflict. So that means like, okay, if you want to connect to other IP, but it's under another subnet. Okay, but if they have a same IP address like 192.168.1 under this subnet, okay. But if you want to type it, then it will send for the router. Like first, you determine sometimes. Okay, first part is it do you have a device belongs to like this local subnet? It's under this one, because if it's under subnet, it should be go to the WAN. So the WAN address like another gateway's IP. So we don't have a problem like for the router layer, transport layer, we will have a table to match. Okay, so this one I know I'm going out from my local subnet to going to the WAN. So actually we can determine. Okay, yeah. So even though it looks like, okay, I access, but if you're using the same IP address, it will try to access to the like maybe under same subnet, same LAN, we call the LAN, local area network, client first, yeah. But if you see why it can access, always we put the WAN IP, yeah, connect to the WAN IP, yeah. And right here, we will be like, we can check. And another one we use really common is using ping. Ping is checking the alive. So we will checking, okay, if I want to check, okay, our destination is still alive, or like the connection is like really still in connection. So then we will know. So once we try to ping our client or destination, then we should return some response. So I know some of you have a computer. Anybody want to try? Okay, well, you know the IP address of the router, right? So anybody can try to ping the router and see what is the result. So let's say if we ping the IP address of the router, so you will see the return message. Yes, yeah, success. So you will say, okay, how many bytes coming return back? Depends on different okay, let me terminate it first. With the terminate, it will show us how many package like send it to our destination, and then how many receive. So but sometimes they do have some rejection. I remember, let's say I want to pay in Google. Okay. So right here, but sometimes we even the connection, it works. What happened? Let's say I open a browser and then open the website. You can open, you can still like able to access that website. But however, when you ping it, you see like no return or fail. Then what's a possible reason? Like you can still able to access to the server, like able to open the website. But when you try to ping the server, it shows you like the package all lost. And what's a possible reason? Not really. You are still sending a package to there, but you lost all the package. Nothing received. But right now you can see like Google still like you ping it, and then when you send a package to the Google server, it will return it. I say, okay, so right now you will receive the package back. But sometimes when we ping, we didn't receive anything. We say that all the all package lost. Like if you send 10 package, but all that. But sometimes they will some server like for security and reduce the workload. Just remember DDoS. Okay. So what is DDoS? Do anybody know the concept of DDoS?
It's denial of service attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, the way I know how it gets done is they have some kind of botnet
Mm-hmm.
that just floods your system of requests,
Mm-hmm.
and you're unable to distinguish the difference between real people and bots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So actually to some server, because they want to prevent the DDoS. DDoS one thing is like a broadcast, right? So it's same thing, same idea as just ping, but they do it in when we request like sending a ping package. If one is okay, maybe just I say hello to you, hello, then you need to reply to me, right? Okay, hello. But if 10 people do it in the same time, hello, then you have to reply to all of them. So you're super busy. So that's why how the DDoS make your server, your host, or your instance, suddenly the CPU processing power, the bandwidth occupied 100%, overloaded. The reason because when they have multiple, like maybe they use around like in the WAN, maybe you have 10,000 computer server doing same time, sending you a ping package. But you have to, if we are using the handshake or like TCP or like any way to deal with it, then you need to reply to all of them. Then you cannot, then you will use all your processing power to deal with the ping only, but you're doing nothing. Yeah, so to some server, they will like, let's say they will maybe only they will reply your like first few times. So this one really depends on the like their company policy, the regulation, how they set. Maybe say, okay, we only reply for 10 times, or like with for same IP address, I only allow them within 1 minute for how many ping, maybe one time, or like 10 minutes. Let's say we can do it this way. So that's why sometimes we can still able to access the website or their like FTP or any resources. But however, when you try to ping the web those server, they are no response, or they only like return sometimes maybe like 5 package or 10 package. Where they try to like just like cut it off the connection. So I only reply to you maybe 10 times or 5 times for same IP address within 5 minutes like this. Then I can prevent like overload of my resource. So that's like behind, like when we even for ping, that's how we deal with the security part, like how to prevent overload. And here's the example we prevent, and then we can see the sometimes we have the sequence, and then TTL is like time to leave, and how much time does we take. Based on the time, we can also estimate the knocks, or we have the knocks. Later we have one more called the trace out. I will show you this one, so you can using the ping test right here. And then coming next will be called a trace route. So trace route, we have different one on Linux will be trace route, Windows trace RT, and also trace path combo. So what's the result it comes out? So if we try to do the trace route, so we know how it goes out. All the we call it gateway nodes. So if you try to like use any domain, you can use like Google, maybe you can use YouTube, Facebook, wherever. Yeah, Instagram, trace route. Sometimes if you did do it by maybe in different time, maybe if you do the trace route from home or from school or other location, sometimes the route path it change. It's no guarantee exactly the same, because all those nodes, like all those like gateway in the middle, can be different, so they will change. But they say, oh, why I'm always get the same? Then you're lucky just say, okay. So they're always like getting from the same path, go to your destination. That's right here. So if you try to do it, and sometimes they will have more than that. And if just want to let you know right here, sometimes they have more than 10 nodes or like 18 nodes. For the method, they will just like skip all those in the middle. So they just go to the destination. So if I want to access to Google, you will see from the first one until the destination. So now it takes like until like it takes 18 nodes or 18 gateways. And every of them taking maybe 1 minute. Then we check the like total time, reply time from the average like 2 point something. So the total nodes we will take is like 1.7 millisecond for the round trip. That means we make it half. And we can see that we go through all those nodes. Right here. So here's all the examples. We will showing. Okay. So another one is called the NX lookup and thing. And NX lookup is help us to check, okay, if you look at the name like NX, so it's the name server. look up. So I want to see if for this domain name, what's the server IP address it belongs to? Like, what's the actual hosting or the server using for the IP address? Then we can check. But all this really common or check. Okay. For the prevention, like if anybody, if you like receive some email, you say, okay, it looks like a scam or like it's a spam email. But sometimes if you check the domain or like, okay, I want to check if this server is it safe or like if I'm not sure, okay, if this email sending from the like the IP address I know, and we can using NS lookup to check it. So it's the example. So we can provide all the DNS information. So you can see if we say the NS server, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 from the google.com. So it's hosting. Also, we have called the ARP, address resolution protocol. So it can allow like us to view or modify the ARP table on the host. So you see right here, and so all the fast. So if we can check is the cache and associate with the like the address and then the MAC address, you can see the MAC address right here, and then which interface, ETH0. So the ETH is the going out is the port we connected. Most of the time it should be 0, but if let's say the school server have multiple port like connect to multiple WAN, then we may be not using ETH0, maybe ETH1 or 2. But most of the time, if you check this at home, it should be always comes out ETH0. Yep.
So ETH1 is a subnet?
Oh no, it's called the interface. It's always a short term. So it's like it kind of the actual port, the one you pop in. So they start with the number sequence 0. So most of the time, if you are like your house router or I think school, they have only one gateway, maybe just one. So we always going out from ETH0, the only one connect to the WAN. Is it possible have like ETH0, 1, 2, 3, 4? It's possible, but most likely maybe enterprise level. Really depends on the school infrastructure, like network infrastructure. So maybe they want to secure, make sure the network is stable. Because I know like my previous client, they have two, they're using 2 different company service provider, ISP. So they have 2 WAN. Because the one is like kind of slow and then they get a new one, but they didn't cancel it. So they maintain 2. And that time trying to keep those then how can we like sometimes we use as a backup or like we can set it using the firewall or like policy to for okay, maybe certain range using ETH1 and then certain range can use ETH0. So it's more like in the network layer the firewall setting the forwarding of the package. Or like you can set the as a backup kernel. In case the ETH0, like the first port is like fail, then you can use ETH1 still going out as a WAN. So all this like it would be the routering deal with this package. Okay, next step. So will be the network statistics. So we will display all the bots like the host is listening on. So I think this one maybe you will use when you want to check if you're using Windows or Sync on the Mac. So because like for when we doing project, if you want to check like what are those hosts they are open, then we can use this and know what those hosts open for what kind of service or application. So you'll know. TCP dump. So we will this one is one of the application you can download. It's called the Wireshark. So you know what's the Wireshark. Okay, you've used it. Okay, good. So it's the same as the application you can help you to trace all the like opening holes chase all those network. So we can check all these. And another one is called the Nmap, so called the network mapper. So we can search for the host on the network. So sometimes we can scan the IP address. And if this one also can be used like for your project, if I say a project can be checking others host. If you want to try to doing some like file injection, change permission, then you want to check like what's the host right now is available or open to access, then we can use Nmap. Nmap right here, there are two different ones. It's the -p and the one is called the -ss. So this one also we can check the opening code, the ports. If you can, one of the application, because on map, I can show you right here. So here's the application you can download. It looks slightly not really fancy, but if you go to download, then you can check for Windows, they do have a copy for Windows, or they have a copy for a Mac, then you just need to download the DMG. Or if you, it's right here, or sometimes you can use the source code distribution to install it. So after you install it, just execute with the Nmap from here. So just follow the instruction, then you can scan all the open ports. They're open. I can try to see right here, copy the address. Let me use the sudo. So the Nmap right now try to scan the port. Sometimes we can do it like scan all the available port or like some closed port, or we can make it faster. Just really depends on which one. So right now we can tell we open 3 ports on the server. So one is the 22 TCP, 80 TCP, and 443. And right now the 443 is closed. Okay, so if I want to access like from the 443, suppose it's not supported. So you know why when we like type HTTPS, it's not working, because the port is closed. Okay, here's some more. And Netcat, so we will read all those and write directly to the network interface. Okay, so we will like try to maybe sometimes we need to open certain of the port. Why not we just list the ports or the IP config or like the interface config. But let's say if sometimes I need to monitor a port or like see what the data transfer, and you can or sometimes we want to check. Okay, sometimes we say, okay, why the Windows is pretty common. Say, why we have the backdoor? Because the security issue is sometimes we open a port for certain surface, or like we open unnecessary port, but we never realize that we open it. Then it just allow like the hacker or others like who knows that we can access to your server or like your desktop by those unused port, open port, we say. And they can say to you. So right here, if you're using the Netcat, like with the version, let's say I'm using google.com. So you will see is return the HTML header information. So what's the basic, and then it shows the HTML content, the schema right here. Okay. And also we can use the NC for the computer. So I'm not go through all the comments, so you can refer to this one. So this one just that you like Windows and Linux, they will share the same. And then you can check, okay, when I open the which port and store the some like what kind of information, then we can do it. It's a really low level to handle with the like intake. So here's like so far all the vocabularies, like all the basic concept we using for the like cyber security. Yeah. So or like for the network layer. Because we talk about cyber security, we need to know is that all those like the connection. Yeah, the basic connection. And I will go back to here. Okay.
Is that posted on weekends?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So it should be on week 2 is the previous one right here. So I would recommend you looking for something really common to use, and also the one really simple like checking your IP address, actually not your actual local IP address, but it's your WAN IP address, ident.me, or something like whose IP. Then all those like website will help you to fetch all those information about the connection. And sometimes when you put the domain name, or like if you look at some like domain, it looks so weird, and you can just say using Google to check it. Okay, then you will know, okay, when did they which is this domain, and then where's this server located at? Okay, it doesn't make sense. Sometimes they're more like, does it make sense? Maybe they open recently. If they say YouTube send you a email, ask you, okay, can you like click on this link to get your reward, like get a free account? Okay. But when you check the domain, or sometimes they change the word a little bit, like you, like they put double U, double O. Then when you like copy and paste, or they put the a record, change the first one, then you can check, okay, maybe they just registered this domain maybe in 2023. Then it doesn't make sense, right? Because they should register this domain like long time ago. So based on this like information, then we can like trace all the content of the website, or like the your server going to connect. It can just like have a sense, like first like have a sense feeling, okay, it may be have a risk. And then we need to verify, okay, does it come from some like trusted host? And back to the assignment, I try to cover the time. To those I share, can you anybody those like share the EC2 account, can you connect to the server? No, okay. So right now I will tell you okay, first one thing, if we talk about all those ports, right? So if I need to open, right now we open the port 80, 443 and 22, these three for like SSH and HTTP and HTTPS. If I want to like open another port for others application, based on what I tell you, do you know like how can we do that? Any idea? We already did it once, like do something like open the SSH, open the Nginx.
The firewall part or in the AWS?
Firewall, the open. Okay, so if I tell you, okay, let's say I want to open pretty common, we using API server, and somewhere we using like 3000 for the API server. Then I want to open the port 3000 for API server. But right now we only have 3. Then how can we open one more port? 3000. How can we do that? Any idea? Do you remember still like we remember what's the firewall we use for Ubuntu? Yes, correct. Okay, so pretty close.
You get to download another application of some kind, because when we pull up like the command to show like what
Mhm.
the firewall library,
Mhm.
and it would show like the Nginx and then,
Okay.
I
Mhm.
guess the OpenSSH, so.
Okay, so that, those will be more like common, like be popular to use. Like, because Nginx, and even Nginx, you can see is HTTP and HTTPS, right? Or, and full, and OpenSSH, those four. But, if, how about if we want to open a port is not in the list? How can we do that? Guess. Actually, the Nginx full is same as I open like 80 and 443. That means I replace the name to a number. And it's possible to. So anybody want to try? Because based on what we learn, actually we can do it. So if anybody want to try, let's try to open the port 3000 on your server using the UFW. Hence, it's using UFW, and then just replace the Nginx name to a port, to a number 3000. Then you can check the status. So that's slightly in the lessons class. Anybody have no idea what to do or invalid? Okay, let them go and check. Okay. Okay. So do you remember when UFW, we have the action? So when we, if you go back to the, example, sudo UFW, and then what's the action? No, and then was for restart, but another one. Allow, yes, correct. So use allow and then put your port number. Yeah. Yes. You do not. Yeah, so the status then. So we at the front. Okay, so I saw somebody always able to do it. Anybody have problem? Can you connect to the server? You can try.
What exactly are we trying to do?
Okay, so right now I say, for the firewall, I want to let you, open the port 3000. So right now we open, port 80, 443 and 22 for three, service or application. So right now I'm asking, can you using, actually I skip it really quick. So that one's called the UFW. The hint is using UFW and open the port 3000. So, how we replace it is like we use the name called Nginx full or like Nginx HTTP with the quotation, because it's more likely it's a text. So we replace it to the number as a number, then we should able to open the box. Can you do that?
Sure.
And then when you saw the status, you should have those one more. Okay.
Where and how do we do this?
And here we have 44380.
Okay, this one is the on the AWS, but the one I use, asking you can connect to the AWS server.
Yeah.
And okay, so you remember the comment how to show the UFW.
Wait, did I miss it?
Okay, so you can and then you have that and then use the one for the status.
Isn't that,
This one is list all the status we are open. So why now do you remember how do we allow this service? And also using allow. So sudo
Okay, if you're, yeah.
you have done allow and then put 3000.
Yes.
And then,
Opening another port, it's all very much.
yes, so we see that, and then check the status. Okay.
So you have to allow, and then, so.
So yes, so right now I think basically,
Show one, this is anywhere, and then we should also.
yeah, so once IPv4 and then once IPv6.
Okay, that's.
So you will see the port 2000.
Gotcha.
Okay, so of course, sometimes it's like the AWS, they here's a slight tricky for AWS. We have like two firewall rules. One is like the Ubuntu itself, also the AWS. So try to like secure for the connection. Add one on the like AWS, so we can allow the outside the web internet connect to your server, and also for your Ubuntu server host also allow the port. So also try to add the port 3000 for the connection. So but this one you can do it by your own. Just need to go to the security.
The different ports are just, like each port is designated like a different protocol? Or not?
You can define the protocol, like you can use as the TCP or like UDP, depends on which kind of application you would like to use. But most of the time, if we want to like send this data, like for application connection, like stable, then we need to use the TCP by default. And right here, if we change the security rules right here, and then we can edit the inbound rules, add rules, we can use a customer and then get the IP address 3 right here. Maybe we just like connect to the host, the logos right here. Then we can open the port 3000 for the WAN. Like anybody can access to 3000 or like specific. For the high security, let's say we have one server or like we have another device, only allow that device connect to our port 3000, then we can specifically set which like WAN IP can access to this port. Yeah, so then how can we increase the security? So we have two layers, especially for the AWS, because sometimes for other like this, like cloud computing provider, they may not actually they have one say their policy, their own company firewall. Sometimes, but you can see like for certain range of the port, they will let you to set by yourself. So you can use that on your server to open the port 3000, then you can access by this way. So open it on the AWS and also your server. So let me connect, because some of them, if you didn't do it, then I can. Okay. Okay, so I didn't. Let me activate. So I think my connection, the pipe is broken. Let me see. If it's broken, that means the you have the firewall rules disabled. Then I need to connect it back using the instant connect. So I think we put, or I don't know if somebody connect, then connect to it and change the policy. But okay. Okay, so it's disconnected. So I need to like go back to my.
Yeah, with this one, you have to still save.
I didn't save it. Yeah, so I like if I refresh it, it should be the same. So it should be open SSH and HTTPS and HTTP. I didn't save it. Just that one's the demo. But that one should be the port 22 is closed. So that's why couldn't use my SSH to connect back. So I need to check it later, yeah. And that's how we work on the server box. Not the server, the port. Okay, so when we open, so it depends on the application or later which kind, then we can do working in this way. Then you have to right now. So far, everyone's okay with the port, right? Okay, no problem. I think it's pretty easy for this one, like for security. The one of step is I always set the firewall rules, and then this one I don't think we have enough time, so I wait for I will go through once, let you know briefly how to work on the server block, and we'll do it next time on the lab. I share two examples about the Nginx file, so we can download it and look at it. We right here we have the like Nginx default page, right? When you call the default server block. So when you copy the link or like type it or like click on the hyperlink, it will redirect to the HTTPS. And then, well, I suppose you should remove S. Then you will say, welcome to Nginx. Then if we want to customize our own, or like I don't want to redirect to the Nginx page, I want to like connect to my API server, my website, or my another application. Then how can we handle it? Then we can do it by this way. This one is the we will define the server block first server, and then we will listen. Listen to which port. If we are dealing with the HTTP, then we will listen to port 80. If we need to do HTTPS, then we need to change to to 443 with SSL. I will change it because in the beginning, we will start to like, we cannot start to work on HTTPS right now because you will see like nothing fun, like we cannot access it. So we need to set our first one will be the port 80, and then with the server name. Before I think I asked like with the 3W or like without it. So it's right here. So I put two of them together. So if we type www or without it, we will still like handle it. We will listen to port 80. And when we get it, then we go to the root location will be here. And with the slash, we always like redirect to the root location. Then we're looking for. So let's say I create the directory for the SRV CSCI, but when I couldn't access to my server, so I would just like go through the block right here. And then what's the index? Index is always the first file we try to access. We got port 80 or like 443 is for website. So we always like go to first one called the index HTML or like index PHP. So all those files. And right here is like we try files same as other language. Like we try to get the index file. If no, just not fun. And well known is for the one I will do for the next week. We call the Let's Encrypt. Let's Encrypt is providing the certificate. It's a free certificate for SSL. You can choose then we are not yet covered with SSL, but anybody have an idea what SSL certificate or like how does it work? Why we need the certificate? Why do we need the SSL? And it's pretty common, right? When we connect to the website, everything comes with the S. That means we will have a certificate. If you purchase one with the cert, it will be calculated the middleman, so can be recognized. So they give you as an identity. Okay, it proof. Okay, this website is owned by you or owned by who. So I know. Okay, this like who owns this website, who is running this website. Okay. So I can trust this website. Okay, it's more like identity. Okay. And HTTP without the S, that means I don't know who is hosting it. Okay, so here's the difference. And Let's Encrypt, I helped you to get the certificate. It's like, okay, I know this somebody. Okay, so here's the difference. You purchase one and get the free certificate. It's like more idea is you try to get a license, but they don't know really actually who you are. But you say, but I passed the test or like I registered over there. So I'm in the like trusted list right here. Okay. So is it still safe? Because we are open, but depends on if you are want to like increase the security like with encryption for the TCP, then you will try to get the certificate. Let me go back to here. Okay, and when we set the Let's Encrypt, then we need to first like using the path. We need to add this path for the Let's Encrypt to allow all the access. They need to check all the content inside. This one is like for the for website, sometimes we have the upload files, then we need to set the file size. So when there's like 500 megabytes and okay, this one I need to change the form. A second, I need to find where is it. Yes. Good. Try not to change it, then use the profile to do that. Will be too big. Can you see it? Okay, better. Okay, so it's a file, and then we decline all the. So the server block is like kind of basic. Also, we have some rules to say. Okay, so are we allow for access certain path, like maybe the folder in your directory or like certain path, we will deny it. And another one right here will be the PHP. So the PHP, we will remember the called the PHP FPM. So we are going to use. So the example right here, because the version always like changing. So remember to change the version. So right now we are using PHP 8.3. So change it. So this one is the cache, and we have the path to access it. Okay, so which directory should I go to? So this one is like behind, we need to handle the cache. Here's the example, like what kind of things we should replace it and change it to fit to yours. Then I will do it in next week lab, so we can tell you how we exactly to change it, so you can access to the HTML. Like also we will install another we call the Let's Encrypt the server. Then we can create our own SSL certificate for your server. Then after that, we can change it to our server to right here, port 43. So,
What does this actually do?
So all this file, if you can check the server, it will under the folder if you list if you're using the command right here again. Yeah, I cannot connect to the server right now. I can show you. Okay, so if you're using the list etc nginx and right here, and then call the site available. So there should be one file called default. So this one will be the default file of the server bus. And if we need to add, I always recommend after we build have a new one, just like we will delete the default one and then create our own. So your your own server like this. So you can create your own bot and then put it on. Okay, so later you need to know how to use the vim, or like use Nano to create a file and paste all the source code. This is what we do will be later in the lab. So how we change the server bot, and then we can do the reload Nginx to get the config, or like do the Nginx text to make sure the configuration they're correct. And
Oh, so the default file is just a file that's on like a bunch of servers.
yes, it's
But
when it's on
since
this
that's
server.
running- Since that's running the server,
Mhm.
that line just says like, okay.
By default, it will access to this one first. Yeah. So actually, when the Nginx start, it will get the file called the default. If we remove, then it will based on like which one you are executing. Of course, that one is called the site enable. Site enable. They are actually the server bot we using. So we need to set the linkage like this, and then with the source file, etc like this, and then do another one. So we'll link the file from available to enable. We are doing it this way. But all this we will do it in the next lab, and try to like we will install the server. That means the let's encrypt, and then we will set up the server bot. So next week, suppose when you click on the link, you should able to see your website, welcome to Nginx with the HTTPS. And when I copy the 3, so you will see the server bot it change. So why not just I let you have a understanding of it. So we will change the listening part. So we are not listening for 80 right now here, but we will put it in below. So we will add the 443 with SSL. That means the certificate. We need to add the certificate path. So it will be right here. And all the setting will be the same. And one more thing is that I will ask, then how about if I didn't type anything? How would we handle it? If I want to access from laptop 80. It's more like for user experience, like when I didn't put HTTPS, how would we do that? I would try to do is like, I would listen for 80 and we direct it to the HTTPS with the developer, like this way. Or because I think I asked this question, like what's the difference with the developer or without it? So it can be a different domain, we direct to different server. But if for server, like maybe if you're hosting a website, then we only redirect to one location. Then we always do another redirection. But this one, because we are just like without the developer, but still listen to port 433, then we need to still add the certificate. So it relevant. Okay, we are going to access the certificate. Then we will redirect to the developer right here. So here's the logic. How does it work for the server bot? So suppose that after next week, then you are able to access it, and you can just upload. I will tell you how to create a directory. So you can put a sample HTML or like hello world HTML. So you can upload it to the server. Then when you type your domain, the DNS domain, then you can able to see the website. Okay. So,
This is all HTML.
oh no, this one is the Nginx server. Yeah, handle with the redirection. So we can set lots of one of the security things at the SSL. Yeah, so I will go through this part with your next week. And that's it for today. Yeah, I do. You can come like after 4 on Tuesday. Sometimes, like even like after this class, you can come, but better because I don't know, in case there's somebody come, so you can send me an email. So I will let you know the time, or like if say, can I come in this time? I say, yes, you can come. If no others make an appointment, then you can come, yeah. And also like Tuesday, the same time. So after this class, yeah, you can make appointment, or like after my whole day class, after 4 p.m. Also, you can make appointment, then you can come, yeah. Or if any other time, also you can, we can set up the Zoom or anyway, yeah. So it's still available like on Monday, or like if I'm no meeting or because I still have other class on Monday and Wednesday. So just send me an email, so let me just.
I sent you an email though, it seems like I'm on guest, I had zero.
Did I miss it? Let me see. Maybe I'll check my email. So when do you send it?
No, I said I will send. it.
Okay, yeah. This.
I just want to say thank you. I was wrong. No less.
Okay.
I just gotta say thank you back.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
But just like time me out. I didn't know if that was internet because I messed up the setting.
Okay, so when you.
It's taking forever to load. But I have NGX and I can just check that if that's running.
Okay, so it's. When we move the ads. And.
And then it's still timed out. I don't know if that's because I messed up the link or if it's just the internet slow.
But also they have captioning too, so try to use one more.
Normally he's like 3-2 or 4-1, like remote or something.
Okay.
Okay,
But he got messaged today.
so are you using phone mic?
Yeah, I'm
Or you can make it.